So we see all kinds of data providers out there that are trying to claim they keep data up to date. And yet there's this instance of salespeople, this percentage of salespeople that are consistently coming forward saying the data is bad. Right. So tell me what your thoughts are on data providers, enrichment, and the problem thereof.
I think that's a really good point. I don't have an answer quite yet for a lot of my clients.
I stumped her. I got her. You all saw it. I got her.
It's really hard. We actually just had this with the most recent client of mine. They're a membership-based company, and the free memberships are when somebody's usually like an RN at a hospital or interning or being a resident. And once they move to the paid version, they have to give a different email because they got a job somewhere. And they actually, their number one thing they talked about was a lot of our email addresses are junk because people move companies.
They're bouncing back, yeah.
Right. So I think enrichment is important. You know, there are a lot of tools out there, but also you need to make sure that you have a sales team and a Salesforce admin that's following up with knowing when these leads are considered, you know, junk now.
Junk leads,
yeah.
Sure.
So deliverability programs, you know, data enhancements, data cleanliness is huge because if you're still emailing these people and sales is thinking that there's still somebody that's a prospect, well, you don't even have the right contact information anymore.
Yeah, the contact information shifts so rapidly these days that, I use the event model as a great example. I've done 80 Salesforce events, give or take, in the 3 or 4 years that I've been doing events in the Salesforce ecosystem. So I'm pretty well known in those, and I'm good for scanning a lot of leads. People like talking to me. Imagine that. I'm on a podcast host, right? Yeah. But I'll scan 200, 300 leads in a day, people coming by the booth, wanting to ask questions. Here's my card. Here's your card. Let me scan your badge. 2 weeks later, a good 25, 30% of those leads are bad because those people got new jobs, new roles, their domain changed, the company rebranded, everything's different now. And that seems to be a huge problem when it comes to data decay for people that do events. And then there's the aspect of getting your list into your marketing automation platform or your CRM, depending on what you might be using. Some people use one and the same, HubSpot, you know, Salesforce, Marketo. The combinations that are within that ecosystem are endless, right?
Yeah.
But getting that list uploaded in there and being able to pick out good and bad data, that's a huge challenge. So tell me a little bit about your experience in that world.
Yeah, it is a huge challenge, especially at trade shows. So, you know, I was a vet manager before, so that was an issue.
I know that.
Yeah, I always came through. Definitely a struggle with uploading those different lists and having the right contact information. So I've always noticed like following up after the event is something that's big to see how accurate are these leads that we collected at the event. And if there's a lot of leads that aren't accurate or they're not the right contact information or somebody moved jobs, then why is it such a big problem if you're going to a trade show? Is it the way you're collecting leads? You know, back the days when you did manual where people misspelling the email addresses, well, then you need to get something automated where...
The fat finger problem.
Yeah, right. So you need to get something automated where, you know, whether you have business cards or you have a landing page, something there to be able to validate that data when you're collecting the leads. So I've always noticed, I mean, automation's key in general. Like anytime you have something that's going to be a little bit more manual, the more errors that'll happen. And then there are also some, you know, event scanners. There's also, I've seen before where you can, people are big with business cards, where you can actually scan business cards, it goes right into a CSV or an Excel file.
Yeah, I've seen a few apps like that myself.
Yeah, and those are really beneficial. You know, a lot of times people think, well, who gives out business cards anymore? Well, a lot of people do.
I do, yeah. I give them out everywhere I go.
A lot of people do. So I remember I had an intern, and I was also doing some of the work too when I was an event manager. We get stacks, numerous stacks this big of business cards. And, you know, it would take hours to input it until we had, you know, whether it was an in-scanning app at an event or this app that you would just scan the business card, take it out, and uploads for you. I think some type of automation of being able to keep that data clean is important. And then following up after the event. If you follow up and you have an 80% deliverability rate to leads you just collected, okay, what's the issue? Why is it off so much?
Right.
Yeah, so I feel like navigating and auditing and doing research beforehand of what the problem is going to help you define what your solution could be.
So navigate, automate, validate, right? Or navigate, validate, automate probably would be the way to go.
That would probably be it.
That's the order of operations.
Yeah, but
you heard it here first.
We're coming out with a new tool. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's what's most important is people are like, oh, we have a problem. Oh, well, it's like, well, no, why is there a problem? Is it the way you're collecting leads? Is it people are switching jobs or people giving you bogus information? Why is the data that way?
Yeah, I think it's that way for a couple different reasons. And I always think it comes back to communication about the process. And usually this is a communication breakdown between sales and marketing. Imagine that.